Well, hello, my loves. Tony here from TL Yarn Crafts, and welcome back to my channel. So I just actually got back from Portland. I was there for this event called Our Maker Life, which was absolutely amazing. And then my best friend and I spent a couple extra days in the city, and I have to say, I freaking loved it. Portland is fantastic, and if I just up and move there one day, don't be surprised. The food was amazing. There was barely any humidity. It was perfect. I got out of there just before their 100-degree days, so I got to go see the falls, and I got to hang out downtown. And then there's Powell's bookstore, like literally a bookstore that takes up an entire city block. We had to go twice because there was so much to see, and I still haven't gotten to everything. It's just marvelous. And another thing that I loved about Portland is their shopping bag policy. So out there, bags are not defaults. Like, you don't just get bags when you go to the grocery store or you go to the pharmacy. You have to bring your own bag, or you have to pay for a bag from the store if you want one. It was actually pretty neat because you got to see all these Portlandians with their cute little handmade quilted and crocheted bags. It was a whole vibe. So I thought for this video, I would pay homage to Portland and design an entire bag from start to finish and show you how it turns out. And I think this bag will always remind me of that experience every time I use it. Is it gonna be cute? You know, I don't know. You saw the thumbnail, so you tell me. But before we get into all of that goodness, let's give some love to today's video sponsor, Skillshare. Now, Skillshare is an online learning community for the curious and the creative. Millions of members visit this video workshop platform to learn everything from illustration and design to video and photography, and even how to get organized or be more productive. Skillshare has classes to fit your schedule and your skill level, no matter where you are in your creative journey. Speaking of creative journeys, anybody else been feeling a little meh lately? I know I have, and especially when I come back from vacation, there's usually like a day or so when I'm recuperating, so my energy levels are like way down. And I love Skillshare for this because you can get inspired with one of their classes. That's exactly what I did when I found a class from Erin Palabyab. I think that's right. Erin's course, From Clueless to Content Creator, was exactly what I needed to continue getting better at this YouTube stuff. This course starts from the very beginning, helping you understand what your online personality is going to be and what exactly you bring to the table. From there, the rest of the modules guide you through the steps that you need to create that really good, engaging content. And the best part about this course is that you get all of this amazing information in less than an hour. Like, could you imagine becoming a better YouTuber before the end of your lunch break? And that, my friends, is the magic of Skillshare, and why I will never leave that platform. This class and thousands more are available on demand when you upgrade to the premium membership. And if you're ready to explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in your own creativity, hop on over to Skillshare. The first 1,000 subscribers to hit that link down in my description will get a free trial of the premium membership, so don't let it pass you by. And while we're talking about sponsors, you gotta give it up for our Cup of Caffeine sponsor. So this is my first day of work back after a vacation. If anybody else is used to doing that and is self-employed, you know exactly what I mean. Is this cup number 1 or cup number 4? I really can't remember. So today's Cup of Caffeine sponsor is Ann W. And when donating, Ann said, "Tony, you are the best teacher. As a beginner, I tried some others before I found your beginner video. Well, I didn't know which side of my bulky yarn was up. I enjoy all your videos. They are fun, funny, very friendly, and informative. Making my first blanket now. Thank you so much. Congratulations, and welcome to the club. I am so glad that you're a crocheter now. You're absolutely gonna love it. I've got a ton of videos for you to check out, so just keep trucking on that crochet journey, girl. I'm right here with you. Now, if you enjoy my content and want to support my channel, buy me a coffee. Who knows? I might shout you out in my next video. Now let's make a tote bag. We're going to start with actually designing our bag. I've got a camera going right here so you can kind of see what I've got going on here. So here's the concept for the bag. I'm gonna go with granny squares because I absolutely love them. They're very now right now, and they're also super cute and let you use up yarn that you might have in your stash. I've got some yarn from my stash that I purchased from Hobie a while back. The idea, okay, is to have like 4 large granny squares to make one big square, join them all together, so 4 on each side, and then do some single crochet stitching around the top, have a nice drop on the handles, and have the handles be created kind of right there with the bag. So let's do a super duper quick sketch. Listen, I've always said that I was an artist, never been really strong at drawing, but I know what I'm getting at, and I hope that you do too. So here we've got our 4 granny squares. Of course, we've got the handles, and then I want to build up some single crochet stitching here at the top. That's going to help reinforce the bag and make sure it's nice and strong. Now, as far as materials, I've got some really, really cool stuff. So the first thing I have here is Universe from Hobbii. It's a 98% acrylic, 2% polyester yarn. I thought it was absolutely beautiful when I first saw it, and I added it to my stash, but it's just kind of been chilling there for a while. And I have a second yarn that's going to go with this. For a little bit more strength, I've got Rainbow, which is Hobbii's beautiful cotton yarn. I went for an 8/8. Both of these yarns are DK weight, so I'll be using the same size hook, and I think they're going to work really well together. And then, of course, there's all the other supplies that I need. I got these new aluminum hooks from Furls. They have all aluminum hooks now. They're absolutely lovely. I've really enjoyed them. I've got a 4mm, which is definitely on the smaller side for a DK weight yarn, but the entire idea here is that I'll have closer, tighter stitches, again, adding to the strength and integrity of my bag. Now, Furls hooks are hit or miss for me. It really depends on the fiber. I have not tried these hooks with acrylic yarn or with cotton, so I'll have to see if I love them or hate them. If I end up hating this with the yarn that I chose, I'll probably just go to my clover. So if you notice the hook change halfway through this video, you'll know why. I've also got scissors, a tapestry needle. I've got a tape measure that's gonna help me out a lot when it's time to do the handles. And I think that's it for now. I also have my coffee, I have my iPad so I can find something fun to watch. So I'm gonna start things off with the actual granny squares. The finished bag, I want to be around 14 inches square. So I'm gonna make each of my granny squares 7 inches. So it'll be 7 and 7 here to give me 14, 7 and another granny square above it to give me 14 that way. And that's when I'll start kind of building up the top for the handles. I'm trying a new technique where I can stripe these, so 2 rounds of each color. I've played around with it with some swatch yarn, but I'm curious to see what it looks like with this, just to make sure I don't have any of the colors peeking through. We'll give it a try and see how it turns out. Let's get stitching. So we've got the first few rounds of our granny square. It's looking really cute, but I will say it's giving like low-key Christmas vibes. Like, I don't know. I knew that the glitter and the metallic in here was gonna be a bit of a choice when I first got this yarn. And I was okay with it then, and I'm trying my best to be okay with it now. It's really gonna depend on how the other colors hit, especially against this cream. Also, the weight of Universe and the weight of Rainbow, way different than I was expecting. And this is why you always need to swatch. With a granny square, it's not gonna matter as much. The cotton is way thicker than the acrylic. And you can kind of tell how a couple rounds of the acrylic are not quite as big as a couple rounds of the cotton. That's gonna mean, one, I'm gonna use way more cotton. Two, this bag's gonna be a little bit heavy. And three, I think the color's gonna pop actually a lot more. Since this bag is mostly gonna get taken up by the cream, the color that comes through in the acrylic is really gonna it's really gonna like be there. So I'm not as initially wowed as I expected to be with this color combo, but I am glad to be using up some stash yarn, and I am glad that I was able to work through my striping technique. So you can kind of see on the back here the float from the stripe, but you can't see it at all on the front, and that's exactly what I was going for. So all of the ends and everything are going to be on the back, which will be on the inside of the bag, so the front side looks nice and clean. So now I've got the groove going, now I've got an idea of where this is headed. I'm gonna go work on this granny square somewhere a little bit more comfortable. All right, late night check-in. It is officially 11:06 and it's time for me to go to bed. So I've made a lot of progress. I have 5 of my 8 squares and 1 on the way. I'm actually really loving it. I thought it was a little too Christmassy, but now it's feeling a lot more rose and teal instead of red and green. So I'm really happy with it. The sparklies in this, I'm a fan. I was a little bit nervous, but it's actually super duper cute. I'm excited. So I'm planning to get up super early tomorrow morning, make my coffee, get to the rest of these squares so then we can sew it together. Join as you go was a great choice. We're gonna have a lot less ends to weave in and we won't have to do the whole step of seaming, which will be awesome. Can we keep it down? Oh, sorry. It's a big old yarn and then I just started saying E-I-E-I-O. Sorry. It's all good, babe. Love you. The whole house is about to go to sleep. Peanut is already knocked. I am quite tired, but you know, the late night crochet society only allows you to stay in if you crochet after 11 p.m. So I got to keep my membership. Gonna get some shut eye and crank out the rest of this in the morning. So I will see you then. Bye. Good morning. All right, honeys, it is about 1:45 in the afternoon. I have made some great progress on our bag here. Joined up all of the squares, of course, doing my join as you go method, and then I flipped it inside out, was able to weave in all of my ends, which went super quickly. Like, I don't mind weaving in ends. It's not an issue for me. I know some people shy away from granny squares because of the ends, but if you use the method that I did of changing the colors every 2 rows, or maybe you just make solid granny squares, you only have like 2 ends per color. I've never seen it to be that big of a deal. And for a payoff like this, worth it. Weave in your damn ends. It's not that big of a deal. Sorry, I got a little snarky. I haven't had lunch yet. My bad. But now we are kind of in the home stretch here. All I need to do is work a few rounds around the top and then add the handles. It did end up a little bit bigger than I planned for it to be. I don't know where my tape measure is, but I think these are maybe more like 8-inch squares. So it's a little bit bigger, which is actually good because then I can put things like books or like more produce when I go to the farmer's market. So I'm gonna make sure I make the straps relatively wide. So if I do have a lot of stuff in here, it's not gonna like cut into my arm. So I'm gonna flip this camera around and let's add the top and the straps and finish up our bag. All right, so that round is done. I did 4 rounds of single crochet here at the top. Now it looks pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and fasten off. So the concept here is that I'm going to pick a chunk from each side, work up a couple rows, maybe like 3 or 4 more rows on each side, and then grab the handles and start picking up. And then I'll go around, grab that handle and pick up and work my way around. So that's the idea. And this part is actually going to take a while. I'm going to place these markers, and then I think we might be heading back to the couch because your girl's going to be sitting for a while to get the thickness that I want on these straps. It's going to take a long time. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a stitch here at the very edge of each side. And there's one. I'm going to take my tape measure. So the whole thing, if I stretch it out, is about 15.5 inches. I'm going to go in about 4.5 inches right here. So I'm going to mark this side at 4.5. So we've placed our marker. So let's give it a quick count. So from this marked stitch, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, the 16th stitch. So I'll count on the other side as well. So we'll mark that one and then we'll do the same to the other side. Okay, so from here, I'll start on this side. I can drop that center marker. I'm just going to go back and forth for a few rows. I'm thinking probably another 4 rows to build up this top border. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll do the same for the other side, and I'll join you back when I'm ready to do the straps. And we're back. So if we take a look, we've got this nice little lip here at the top of our bag. So this is where the straps are going to be attached. On this side, the yarn is still attached from kind of making that lip. So I'm going to work over, I'm thinking like 7 stitches. That's going to give me nearly a 2-inch, probably closer to a 1.5-inch strap, and I think that's going to be plenty. I have decided that instead of going around and up, I'm actually just going to work over these 7 stitches and go up and over to this side. And I'm doing that because I actually like the length of this, and this bag is getting quite long as it is. And if I go around and up, it's going to make this lip even taller. It's going to continue to get taller, and I don't want it to get any taller. And these are the things you have to figure out when you're a designer, kind of how everything all works together. I'm just going to stop as far as kind of the length here, work the strap, and then I'm going to edge it out to make sure I've got nice clean finishing. So I'm going to go to the couch, I'm going to do that, and you're not going to see me until this baby is all done and ready for her final reveal. So go grab some lunch, make sure you hydrate, and I will see you. For you, it'll be just a moment until this bag is done, but I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go watch a movie or like catch up on my latest Danielle Kirsty or something, and I'll see you soon. Bye. All right, lovelies, I am ready for the reveal. I have to say, before I even show you this might be one of the cutest things I have ever designed. I am absolutely in love with it, and I already have a name for it, but I want to let you see it first, and then I'll tell you the name. You're going to be like, oh my God, it's so cute. Okay, here we go. You ready? It's done! Oh my gosh! And I'm obsessed. cannot get enough of this. I think it's so stinking cute. When I first showed my husband, like when I weaved in the last end, I showed it to him. He was like, it looks like something from a store. If you're a crocheter, you already know that is like the biggest compliment, especially from somebody who doesn't crochet. Like, so cute. So for the handles, after I kind of put the tops on, I just built the handles up. And instead of joining down here, just making one long handle and joining, I actually joined them at the top to make those color transitions a little bit less obvious. I know I was originally kind of nervous that this was going to get too Christmassy, but immediately those greens kind of transitioned more to a teal than like a traditional Christmas green. The rose and the teal together, I don't know. I'm like, I guess if I was in the UK, I would use the word chuffed. I don't know what the US alternative to that is, but I am quite chuffed with this. I was also worried about the metallic in here because you can see that there's this gorgeous metallic in this yarn. I just don't use a lot of metallic, so I was like, oh, is this going to be cheesy? Is this going to be gaudy? Is this going to be annoying? But no, it's absolutely perfect. And it's perfect on the straps. They're me-sized straps. You know, I'm wearing kind of an oversized sweatshirt that I bought in 2020, obviously, but it's perfect. It's the perfect length. I think it's wonderful. So the big test, of course, is going to be how well it holds up when you actually put things in it. So I talked about putting books in it and I talked about putting produce. I don't currently have any produce because I just got back from my trip. I haven't grocery shopped, but I do have some books. So I'm going to drop a couple in here and we'll see how it holds up. All right, so I've got 3 books here and I'm going to just start dropping them in one by one. So let's pretend like I'm at the library, like, this looks good. We're going to drop that one in there. Holding up well, we're okay. Second book, third book. This is the big one, so I was a little concerned, but you know, it's holding it. It's definitely stretching the bag, which I expected. It's stretching the handles. So I probably wouldn't put 3 of my heaviest books in here. It gets the job done. It certainly does. And I'm so excited about it. I absolutely love it. So I'm gonna adjust the camera a little bit and kind of give you my final thoughts on this entire project. So now that I've calmed myself down a little bit, I just want to reflect on this experience because I've really enjoyed making this bag. I actually love it way more than I thought I would. When that first granny was done, I was like, okay, this is cute, but is the rest going to be cute? After I joined the grannies and I went to the top, I was like, okay, so this is cute, but is the rest going to be cute? As a designer, sometimes you never really know how something's going to turn out. You can make your best effort, but it's when that final piece is done that you can really assess your work and all the effort that you put into it. I'm coming off this period of being a little bit uninspired, of feeling a lot of pressure, and I've just committed to a lot of things lately that perhaps I shouldn't have, but I really love what I do, so it's hard for me to say no. But this really reinvigorated me a bit. I also love that I was able to pull from my stash to make this, and it's just a reminder that a consciously built stash is going to produce really beautiful projects. There just weren't a lot of rules with this project, and I'm finding that as a designer, I kind of like that. I've been very bound to some of the contracts and obligations that I've created for myself to make sure that I'm making money and still running this as a business. But I need to remember that I have to have stuff in between, that I get to step outside of the box and I get to just play. And sometimes as crocheters, we don't give us the opportunity to just play, just to have some fun with yarn and kind of revisit that feeling we had when we were first getting into this yarny thing. So for anyone considering making this as well, I've decided to call this the Rose City Tote. I've got some details down in the description on how you can make your own. So you can check down in the description for links to tutorials for several of the different techniques that I worked on today, and also just a basic breakdown and steps of how to construct this bag. Now here's a special treat. If you plan to use the exact same yarn, so Universe and Rainbow from Hobie, I have links down in the description for kits that I was able to create, some different fun colorways that I put together, or you can kind of build your own, whatever makes sense for you. Just make sure you check down in the description so you can make this exact bag using the exact yarn. Now I have lots of really fun ideas for more stash busting projects like this. Since my recent move, I was able to put my hands on all of the yarn that I own, and I'm like, girl, you might have a problem. But I'm going to solve that problem myself by doing some stash busting projects. So if you're curious to see those and want to see more videos like this, make sure you comment down below. And if you have any recommendations for some projects for me to make here on the channel with my stash, I would love to hear those as well. I want to give a huge thank you to the sponsor of this video, Skillshare, as well as our Cup of Caffeine sponsor, and every single one of you for watching. If you enjoyed this video or you learned anything, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Those little things you might think don't make a difference, it really does make a huge difference. It pushes us up in the rankings, and it also helps other crocheters just like you find these videos. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.